Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
A memorial service marking 25 years since the racist murder of black teenager Stephen Lawrence has taken place in London. Prince Harry and his fiancée Meghan Markle attended the service, where they met the murdered teenager's mother, Doreen Lawrence, now a peer sitting in the Lords. And the government's announced that from now on, a national commemoration of Stephen Lawrence will take place every year on April the 22nd. Our royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell reports.
It wasn't the moment for royal baby remarks. This was something more solemn, the remembrance of a life cut short and a murder which still has an impact a quarter of a century after it occurred. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who's known racism in her life, took their seats for the memorial service to Stephen Lawrence. Across the aisle was Stephen's mother Doreen and his younger brother Stuart. Prince Harry read a message from his father, the Prince of Wales, paying tribute to the family's efforts to honour Stephen's memory.
As you remember Stephen and mourn what has been lost, it is my special hope that you might all find some comfort in knowing just how much there is to be thankful for in Stephen's life and in all that it has inspired. Thank you.
And that life and what it has inspired will henceforth be remembered every year on the anniversary of his death. The Prime Minister announced that after consultation with his family, the 22nd of April would become Stephen Lawrence Day. For a family which has endured so much from Stephen's brutal, senseless murder and the flawed early stages of the police inquiry, the news that there'll be an annual commemoration of his life was welcomed. Stephen's father Neville said it represented what they had been striving for years to achieve. Our son's memory will be enshrined in history, he said. Nicholas Witchell, BBC News.
The anniversary of the death of the teenager Stephen Lawrence will be marked, as we've reported earlier, every year with a national day to commemorate his life and legacy. As Theresa May announced the new Stephen Lawrence Day, his father Neville said his son's memory would be enshrined in history. Stephen's murder 25 years ago brought about a watershed in race relations. But what does Stephen Lawrence and his family's fight for justice mean to the generation born after his death? Porrick O'Brien went to meet some of them.
The Stephen Lawrence Memorial Service this afternoon, 25 years on from his racist murder in South London.
My nightmare began on the 22nd of April 1993, the knock on the door that all parents dread, to be told that something has happened to one of your child.
Two 18-year-olds, Stephen and his friend Dwayne Brooks, standing at a bus stop set upon by a group of white men. Dwayne escaped, Stephen didn't. This wasn't the only sort of memorial today. Two other teenagers similar ages weren't born when Stephen Lawrence died. These two bonded over a GCSE drama project in school, asked by their teacher to put themselves at that bus stop in Eltham all those years ago.
It hurts us to know those things occurred at that time period. It's like I haven't really faced those issues as much as he did, but I can feel that same pain.
They both studied the case as part of the project. They both studied that now famous picture of Stephen Lawrence.
I do see that we definitely have something in common, and that was happiness, you know, that was being ambitious. Yeah. And that was
so not just skin colour, something far more profound.
Yeah, a lot more than just skin colour, but that being it too, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. How about yourself? Same question to you.
I'll say that picture, I saw promise. Like he following from Kai said, there was a lot of promise in what you could see. You could see the smile.
Is that what you see in that picture? Promise.
I see promise.
Yeah.
I see potential. I see everything a young black man should have.
At the memorial service, Doreen Lawrence spoke of policing, the Macpherson report, the quest for partial justice. Just 2 of the 5 suspects have been sentenced to life.
I've only given you a snapshot of the last 25 years. I've talked about the emotions, the emotional strain it has been on my family and myself, or the battle it has taken to get here. It's time to draw a line.
At the basketball court in South London, the Lawrence family legacy too, in this reaction to what you would do if it happened again.
We're not having that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, there's been too many situations that are like that we are fed up of. So it's like our reaction, coming together and fighting for what we deserve, it's like it's kind of changed their approach on us a bit better.
Yeah. Especially because of things like now. If something was happening now, today, we have something that they didn't really have much, like social media.
Yeah,
if anything
exactly.
was to happen, that's
It
being
goes on social
plastered
media.
everywhere.
At the memorial service, family, friends, royalty, politicians spoke about what Stephen Lawrence meant to them. Across town, two young men, born long after he died, did likewise.
Due to, obviously, you know, his death, etc., it makes me and him and us as youth in general want to take on the life he could have possibly had, you know.
Is that right?
Yeah, it makes me want to, you know, become something great. Just because I know that he could have been something great and he never got the opportunity to, so why would I waste the opportunity?
These men genuinely felt a sense of personal responsibility to Stephen Lawrence and his family. And memorials don't come more monumental.
And that's the message we still stand for now. Like,
yeah, literally.
The amount of times we will talk about things like the future and say we've got to do this now, otherwise we're going to lose.
We have to stay motivated.
To stay motivated.
That's the best way about life. Stay motivated.
That's the main.
Be ambitious.
Really is hard to hear all that, isn't it? What is wrong with people? Anyway, back here. If Stephen Lawrence, a regular teenager, aspiring architect, loving son, had not been murdered by racist thugs 25 years ago yesterday, he would have been 43 by now, which really is the most melancholic of thoughts. Well, today, the life he lived, and indeed the life he didn't, were in everyone's thoughts at a memorial service at a church in London. But in addition, there was striking recognition too of the historical significance of his death, the notion that it simply had to mark a turning point. The Prime Minister said that from now on, every 22nd of April will be known as Stephen Lawrence Day.
Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's all right.
Remembering the life and death of Stephen Lawrence is now officially a national event. And in this congregation, there were some signs of how much this nation has changed in the years since he was killed. In the front rows, the faces of the establishment are perhaps not quite as white as they once were. A woman of mixed race is set to marry a prince who had come to pay tribute to a family who, in their anguish, have achieved so much.
Stephen's family have honoured the promise of his life with everything that they have done in his name, the change they have brought about and the remarkable things that they have achieved. As you remember Stephen and mourn what has been lost, it is my special hope that you might all find some comfort in knowing just how much there is to be thankful for.
We ask for solution.
Hanging over this memorial, the terrible fact that only 2 of Stephen's killers have been brought to justice, and a sense that an underlying, unspoken racism may still lurk not far from the surface of our society.
When it comes to fighting racism, institutional or otherwise, there is no finish line. You don't get to an age when we can finally breathe out and say, yes, I reach, no need to worry about racism anymore. Just ask the Windrush generation.
This country might look different now, it might be policed differently, but Stephen Lawrence Day will serve as an annual reminder that to guard against prejudice is to be on constant watch. Geraint Vincent, News at 10.